Okay, this video has been by request. I am in my kitchen. I live in a condominium, so the kitchen's not, huge. And it was built prior to things like a countertop microwave, or even, I think Mr. Coffee might have been out by that time. It was in the 70s. But coffee makers, toasters, and a lot of stuff you put on your counters. So I don't have a whole lot of space. So I usually make the balls. This is about making balls. These are called satin balls. I call mine spirit balls. Spirit because it raises the spirit of the animal. Hopefully. I have a dog named Ellen, and she had cancer. She had a growth on her tummy, and they did the biopsy, whatever, and it came back as positive for cancer, or it's a pretty negative thing to have cancer, I guess, but she had cancer and they had to cut it out. And she lost a lot of weight. She's already a high-spirited, high-energy dog, jumping up. She's a senior now, but she can still jump a fence about that. It's about right here on me, kind of like on the home improvement, looking over the thing. But she can still jump that high. I mean, her butt is getting that high off the ground. So she is a lab pit mix. She loves the water, loves the cold. She's outside right now. We're supposed to get some cold here, and she loves it. So I'm starting making these. I found out about how can I put some weight on prior to her going to the thing, and then after. I was always worried about her being very, very slender. But the doctors always said she's healthy. Just she should put on a little bit of weight. So she'd eat her food. I give her a little extra food, and it wouldn't work. So I started experimenting with stuff, looking at stuff, and I found about making it like a raw meat. I wonder if she, like raw meat would just help her to grow. And I discovered that people do make these, and I adapted it more to her. So I'm going to cover spirit balls that I call them. They call them satin balls. But this is by request. I have everything laid out in my kitchen, and I'm going to turn the camera this way. Once you get started, your hands get really gooey, and it's really, really hard to touch the camera. So I won't be able to touch the camera until it's completely over. Basically, I'll wash my hands. I'll just kind of put things towards the camera. I'll look up and see what's being shown and what's not being seen. So I'll make it. I found ways to save money on some of the ones that people put on here. They get a lot more money than I do because they buy all name brand stuff, and I found out you don't have to buy all name brand stuff. A lot of the stuff that we eat is name brand, but the exact same ingredients are made by good companies that are maybe even from the same company, the same manufacturer. We always find that to be true with Costco. They always say, like, this is made by this person, this is made by this person. There's a website I think you can go to, or a YouTube channel that shows you who makes the products for Costco. So here goes. This is for dogs that need to put on weight. This is some people that are breeders. I'm not a breeder. I'm a pet rescue volunteer. But anytime a mom dog has a baby, of course, and she's lactating to feed the babies, they use these as well. But this is just for weight gain. I'm going to talk about a few adaptations I've made to it, and a few things that you can do as well for your dogs. But this is about my dog. This channel is about me, and this is what I do for my dogs. So these are called satin balls, and a lot of ball talk, and I call them spirit balls. So I'm going to turn the camera down this way, and then I'm going to tell you each item as I'm putting it in. I have everything laid out here, not like when you watch diners, what is it? The diners, drive-ins, and dives, whatever, and they have everything with little teeny cups. Okay, I use this much pepper, and I use this, and they have little cups. I don't have all that. So this is what I do, and I'm gonna go ahead and tilt the camera down now. I'm getting ready. I'm gonna tilt the camera down so I can show. Okay, you can see there's a bowl here. It looks like this, and it is a big metal bowl. I have another one that's silver in color, not silver, the material. Okay, the first thing you need to put in there is, well, you don't have to use as long as all the ingredients get it, but they say to use Total, and I use this. Okay, I looked at the ingredients of Total, and it is the same as this. This big box it's gone up. It's 18 ounces. And I get it at Aldi, 18 ounces. And I think it was 12 ounces of Total was 3 times as much as 18 ounces of this. Nothing wrong with Total. It's a great food, I guess. But I can't have a whole lot of cereal right now, so I can't really share it with the dog. So I use this measuring cup like here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 3/4 cup. I'll put the recipe in the comments if anybody wants it. But I put 1 3/4 cup of this, and I pour it in. And none of these have to be exact, because you're making this for your dogs. Also, I was gonna tell you, cats love this too. 1 3/4 cup of Bran Flakes. So I'm gonna just put that behind me. So it's 1 3/4 cup, and I just take it and I drop it in, and it kind of crumbles all up. Well, I don't kind of all crumble up. I do crumble it all up. But yeah, this is for your dog, so you can modify it as you see fit, and then talk to your doctor. If your doctor says, just like when I do with my trying to recover from my diabetes, I'd ask, well, why do I have neuropathy? And they say, well, it's because you're not getting enough of these vitamins. And I said, oh, what if I take those vitamins? Oh, I don't know. No one ever does that. They just take a pill. So I said, well, I'm gonna try it. Let me try that and see if it works. And I was able to knock out my neuropathy. That's video number 4, if you're interested. But I usually just grind up like this in my hands. Then the next thing you have to use is oatmeal. Oatmeal, they said, use quick oats is good. And I hold over here. If a little bit spills, sometimes it does spill in there. Just 1 1/2 cups. I'll just go ahead and either dish it out if it's a lot, or just dump it in there. But I throw that in there next, and I do this. And when I grind it all up like this, now with that oatmeal on top of those flakes, it really, really breaks it up. Now, these are not going to be consistent. A lot of people ask me, could I sell these balls to them and ship them? The problem is it's not going to be, I don't know how to make it consistent. I don't know how to make, people say, well, how much of this is this and this in a ball? I don't know. Because I make them this way, so I wouldn't know how much each ball has. So does it have this amount of oatmeal? Does it have this amount of meat? Does it have this amount? I wouldn't know. So I just do it like that, and then I stop. Then I'll put this behind me, if I can find the lid. That's one thing I always do, look for the lid. Put it behind me. Okay, I'm just doing all the drying this now. Now this is wheat germ. Okay, they say to measure up. The recipes all say use this many tablespoons. It's 1/4 cup. So I just hold it above here, and I look for the 1/4 cup. Now the oatmeal that you usually see is in those jars. I can't remember the name of it. The ones the hippies used to put on their yogurt. I can't remember what's called. It begins with the letter F. It has like a jar that goes kind of like this. It has a lid. What's that called? I don't know. But this right here is this brand, and the reason I bought this is because I went to go buy those jars, and they didn't have any in the stores. None of the stores had it. This was most reasons. That's why I have this one. I have used it in the past, but during COVID, I couldn't find that one in the jar, so I bought this online. A lot cheaper. This is a lot cheaper. I bought 3 bags of this, which were, how many ounces is this? Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, whatever ounces this is, it probably should have said, oh, 16 ounces. Yeah, this is a pound. So I bought 3 pounds for less than that. I think it's 12-ounce jar. So it's a lot cheaper. Okay, so this is just all the dry goods, all the dry stuff so far. So next thing for money saving, I bought this online. This is pork gelatin, and you can buy those expensive little packages in the store, or buy this. This right here is 16 ounces, and I put a little bit over a tablespoon of this one, but this is 16 ounces, and this is no joke. I got 2 of them. I got another one up top here. Let's see what show it. Yeah, it's still in the plastic. I haven't taken out they were in the plastic bag like this, but they were so big I haven't even gone. I'm about halfway through this one now, less than halfway through. But anyway, so this right here, I've got these 2, the one I showed you up there too, for about the price of 2 of the little 1-ounce packages. So I got whatever this is. Yeah, so it's 2 16-ounce containers for the price of, I think it's like 3 or 4 ounces of the other one. Okay, so that's most of the dry ingredients. The next thing is just a little bit of salt. You can put the salt in your hand so you don't get too much. There. Now the wet ingredients. This is where the fun starts. This is where you can't really use your hands anymore. So let me make sure I'm lined up. Am I lined up? Yeah. So I can't really use my hands to touch the phone at this point because it gets messy. Next thing you're going to do is going to be your vegetable oil and molasses. Now here's a little trick. If you do make these, put the vegetable oil in the spoon first, because the molasses, everyone says slow as molasses, really hard to pour to get the molasses to come out of the spoon. But if you have the oil on there already, it makes it a little slicker and it falls off. Now, this is just 100% vegetable oil. I think you use olive oil too, but remember, this is about your dog, so you figure out what your vet says. Just like what I tell you with me, I modify my diet. They tell me the reason you have this is this, because of this problem. I said, well, what if I take something like this? They say, well, when you become a diabetic, they say eat less carbs, or they say sugar, eat less sugar, and get some exercise. Well, that's great, except for the fact that there's a lot more to it than that. If it's that simple, it'd be done. But this is what I use right here. Then I kind of do one of these, like shaking it like you're frying an egg or whatever in a pan, so I don't have to touch it too much, because I'm going to get really covered in stuff here in a second. Next is molasses, and I just buy this big jug here. They do have gallon jugs. This is 2 quarts. They do have this big thing like this. I don't know how big it is. It's maybe even 2 gallons. So that's really hard to pour. So this is cheap enough. Molasses is expensive, and the molasses you want to use is this one, the unsulfurated, also whatever it's called. You can see it right there. That's the one you need to use for this. So then I put 1 tablespoon, and on this I kind of stir it around here because it's going to be really a mess. And you can see I kind of do it like that. Looks like chocolate sauce for a thing, but it doesn't taste like that. Then I put another one, and again, if you get too much of something or not enough, it's not gonna be that big of a deal, because you never know how much to end up in each one anyhow, but you want to make sure you get all that it's supposed to go in there, if you can. So then I cover that up and drop the spoon here. I wash everything when I'm done, and then I just kind of do the same thing. I shake it all in. Once I see I get all over my hands, I just kind of stir it around like this. And this is when it starts getting to the point where you're going to get dirty. Now, next thing is going to be this, and as we know, they're very expensive now, eggs. They say that the brown egg and the white egg taste the same. I don't know when you cook them. These eggs are the only ones that they had there. I usually get the extra large. I think these are just large. But I usually get extra large, so I could put 2 in here if I wanted to, but you know, the recipe really calls for 1 egg. It doesn't really specify the size, so I just go and put that in. I don't have mad culinary skills. So now, one thing I was to tell you about this too before I finish about the egg. This is the egg shell. Now, if your dog has a really bad problem with low calcium levels, they say you can crunch that up and put it in here. Some people would probably do that anyhow, because if it's not bad for the dog, why not do it? Because you know, it'll help them have some extra calcium, and why waste that shell? I usually do not put it in there because she doesn't really seem to have a problem with calcium. Hers is all weight gain, so I decided not to do that. But if I wanted to, I could crumble that up. Dogs will eat eggshell. Next thing is 1 pound of ground beef. I didn't know how to present that. It was I buy the big chub, the 5 pound chubs or the 3 pound chubs with all the shortages. Remember how during COVID you're only allowed to buy 2 meat products per shopping trip, and I don't know how they kept you from just going to your car, unloading your groceries, and coming back 10 minutes later and get 2 more. But each trip to the store, you're allowed 2. So I would get the 5 pound chub. I cut it, freeze it, and then I thought it usually takes about a day to thaw in the refrigerator. I always thaw in the refrigerator. I freeze it and thaw in the refrigerator. That way there's no chance of getting sick. Now, when you buy the meat, when you buy this meat here, in the chub or however you buy it, I break it up in little pieces here. See if I can tilt this a little bit. You can see, yeah, you can see. I usually break it up in little pieces like this because I'm going to be working it in. So I kind of break it up with one hand like this and kind of stir it around like this, and then I'm going to stir the whole thing in, so you get some egg on there too. That way, a lot of times the dry goods go to the bottom and it doesn't get really mixed up. So if you do this while you're putting the hamburger meat in there, or ground beef. I guess you can only make hamburgers with it. You can make meatloaf, spaghetti, taco, whatever. So, but we always call it hamburger meat. So then I put all that in there, and I make sure I get all of it because, as we know, it gets pretty expensive. But I buy the chub and I break it down. And what I was saying about the type of meat it needs. See, I'm already getting to where I have to kind of wipe off on a towel, and then I will wash my hands when I'm done. But when it comes to the meat, you have to buy the cheapest, not the cheapest, but the highest fat meat. Like for us, I was about to say cheapest, but what if there's a clearance sale? Maybe they bought too much of a certain kind of meat and there's too much of it. But you want to buy the meat with the highest fat content. Like for us, we might want to buy a, like a 30%, 70-30 or whatever. But you want to buy the one that has the most fat because you're trying to put weight on the dog. So this, when you buy this kind of stuff, a lot of it is not what you would do necessarily for diabetes. Like I don't need a lot of cereal. I can't eat oatmeal, and things like that. So this is all the ingredients put together. Now the fun part, I just press it down with my fingers, kind of poking holes in there like this. And then I fold the stuff in there. Then I put more holes, and then I do it again. And so if you work it in while you go, it's usually not too bad. But as you can see, down the bottom here, there's a lot of dry. So I want to get all that dry mixed in with the wet. Now you can use more than 1 pound of hamburger because, like I said, this is for your dog. And I'll show you a little trick that I came up with. Also, not I didn't come up with it, but a little trick that is money saver. So all the money saving ones I've told you about right now, I don't know how much you'd save per batch, but if I went to the store to buy the ones that they say to do to make this, so you can see the dry stuff at the bottom here. So I just grab that and I just kind of press it in, and then I fold it again like that. Then I break the ball in half again. See how it's real red in the middle? Kind of break it up again, and I crumble it up like this with my hands. So it's going to be as mixed as possible. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Some people use a little extra molasses to give them a really good red coloring or brown coloring. I've never found a dog that doesn't like this. Cats love this too. Now, if you can use it for your cat, you want to check. But I was talking about the money savings. I don't know how much it is overall, but if some of the items here I can buy for 1/4 of the price, and it's just as good, why not? So then I make it like one big meatball. Now, that would be a really big dog. That'd be a rhinoceros or something. But yeah, so I make it like this, and then I pat it all down again, making sure. This process used to take me about an hour when I first started, when I didn't have the recipe memorized. Now it takes me about 30 minutes. This will probably take a little bit longer because I'm filming it and moving the camera around. So I make some vinyl holes like this, and then I'm gonna flip it over one more time to see if there's any dry goods. I see no dry goods down here. No dry goods. I don't see any of the dry mixture down here, so that's good. But that doesn't mean the center is going to be completely done, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to give this to your dog all the time. People ask me, how much do I give my dog? I give my dog 2 balls. I'm going to start making balls now, and I just break them down. Now, these are not going to be professional, Italian meatball or whatever from the old commercials of the 1960s or whatever, when they always talk about a spicy meatball. I make them like this. So there's 1 ball made, and I'm going to go through the whole process because someone wants to see the process from start to finish. That was the request, so I hope it's not too boring. But I give 2 balls a day. I give 1 in the morning and 1 at night with her regular food. I didn't change her food. Well, I did change her food amount a little bit. When she first started, when I started to notice how skinny she was, I would increase her food. Like I would say, give your dog between 2.5 and 2 3/4 cup. And I would give 3 1/4, so up to almost like a cup more than they're supposed to have. But it didn't really hold the weight. She would sometimes not want to eat that. This is also very, very good if you have a dog that is sick. If you have a dog that's sick, what do they always say to you when you go to the doctor? Eating, drinking, peeing and pooping is normal? They always ask that question. A lot of times you don't want to watch your dog go poop, but if you go take your dog on a walk and it goes poop 2 times, and then you go on a walk and your dog doesn't go poop at all, there's a problem. So this is also good for dogs that are reluctant to eat, because they will eat. Of all the animals we fed this to, including cats, I have a cat, and she was looking earlier. She knows I'm making balls, and she wants a piece. So she wants me to like give this ball to the dog and break off a little piece of her. And sometimes I do, because the vet said it wouldn't hurt her. But check with your vet. Check with your vet for the dog. If your dog is sick, especially, check with your vet. But if you have a dog that's not eating at all, you got to get food in them. You got to get some food. Like I said, don't ever give your dog people food. Don't give your dog a hot dog. But if your dog's not eating at all, we know it can't get well. So we want the dog to eat so they can have their medicines. So medicine takes effect in their bodies properly. We don't want them to not have that happen. So right now we're at 21 minutes. Yeah, so normally I'd be finishing about 2 more minutes, but it'll take a little bit longer because we're talking about making balls. So always check with that. Check with if your cat, I don't know about cats that are sick or not putting on weight. If you got a real skinny cat, our cat was pretty skinny, but I found a food that she loves that I found at grocery outlet. She wasn't eating her food. She wasn't even eating her treats. So I got really worried because she has FIV. People say that's like a cat, like AIDS or HIV for cats, and she is an older cat, so I'm really worried. So like I'm showing you right now, the balls are not beautiful because they don't have to be. The dog will put it in their mouth and say, oh, that's beautiful, because they do not care what it looks like. They care what they taste like, and they're yummy, and they have no idea they're good for them. They always talk about kids. If you have something that's good for them, they don't tell them it's good for them because we don't want them to not eat it. Like you put little vegetables in their meatloaf, or maybe put some oatmeal in there, whatever. Try to get them to eat some oatmeal. Things that they wouldn't necessarily eat. Chocolate cover anything, right? Chocolate cover broccoli, I don't know. But so anyway, so I make these balls for her, and I give her 2 a day. Like I said, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. After I finish these balls, I'm going to put in the freezer. They have to freeze up, and I let them freeze for about 40 minutes. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'll forget. I'll let them freeze for hours. I had to take the car to get worked on, and then he asked could I leave her. Willow, the big yellow car, videos that way. But he was able to get to her right away, so I waited for her, and I came back and the balls were really hard. Doesn't matter if they freeze totally solid, but I'll let them freeze about 40 minutes to an hour. They're 35 minutes to an hour maybe. And then I don't set a time or anything. I just kind of know. And then what I'll do after that is I'll put them in a plastic bag, and each day I'll come to that plastic bag and I'll take 2 of these balls out of the freezer, and I put them in a little margarine tub. I have a butter tub. I think it's butter because I don't eat margarine, but I have during COVID had to buy some because they didn't have any butter, and people like to have margarine or something on their toast or the English muffins. So what I'll do is I'll put them in there overnight, and then I'll take them out at night when I go to bed, and I put them in there in the morning. They're ready to go, and I can give her 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, or at night. I feed her 2 balls a day. I usually give her food. She's eating really well. When she wasn't eating really well, I'd give her food twice a day, hoping to get her excited to eat. Like she wasn't totally full to where she'd ignore it. She would only get half of her food, and then she'd be a little bit hungry at night, so she would eat the rest. Like this. And I'm almost done. And the yield I usually get, this is, there's 10 here, 20, about between 23 and 25 if I make them, but I don't make them any kind of uniform size. So this last ball is a little bit bigger, the very, very last one. And when I have the little dogs, so you can see videos of them back there, Sweetie Pea and Chloe, I used to make really small balls for them. I make balls of this size, and then we had a cat that liked them, and they says, okay, so I made this size. I made one about half this size and one about 1/4 the size for the cat. So these are done. I'll put this back here, and I'll rinse off my hands. And remember, you're dealing with raw meat, so make sure you use the precautions for raw meat. You don't have to worry about how hot the food you don't have to worry about how hot it is because you're not gonna eat it. You know, they'll have a thermos, a meat thermometer, but you're not gonna check the temperature. You are going to, you want it to be raw. So it kind of, that's also a little different. It has to be raw. Now, I was talking about what you can do with this. See, the cleanup's pretty simple. I always have this thing here. Just fold this up and I'll use it again. The pan, I just did the pan. I just put some parchment paper because you don't remember how this is. You're not gonna serve it out of this to your guests. So I have this old pan, this old aluminum pan. I've had it for I think 3 years, and I just change the parchment paper from time to time. So one other thing, every night when I give her her second ball, I put a fish oil tablet in there, like this. And these are really great for hiding a pill. So I'm not saying don't buy pill pockets, but look how easy this is. Whoop. And then you go like this, you push it down. I push it down a little bit so there's no way she can taste it. She doesn't mind fish oil. And there, see, now there's no fish oil tablet. She has no idea. Then I put them in here. Yeah. So this is what I put them in. So I freeze. I'm going to take these balls once they're frozen. I'm going to put them in a plastic bag. And each night I take 2 out of the plastic bag, drop them in here, and throw them in the refrigerator. And that's it. That's the total thing with balls. She's doing a lot better. She has a good weight now. And she is, hopefully, she does have a little growth again, so hopefully that's not cancer, but if it is, I know how to deal with it, and I'll deal with that. So you can hide pills in here. You can crumble up the eggshell too. If you do the eggshell, probably break it up really well. Maybe, put it, in maybe a little plastic bag or something, or in a towel and tap it with a hammer or something, or just make sure it's really broken below because you don't want to cut their gums on a chunk. And that's it. They look like this. I'm going to put them in the freezer now. And I'm going to let them freeze. And also another thing that they do get stuck together, don't worry about it, just break them. If one's bigger than the other, don't worry about it. If one's ugly, don't worry about it, just make them. Satin balls, I call them spirit balls. I finished this video in 27 minutes. It usually take me an hour just to make them. And at 27 minutes, we're wrapping this up. So anyway, have a great day. Hopefully your dogs are well. If they're not gaining weight, if they want to take their pills or any of that, this is something that you might want to think about. Talk to your doctor, of course, your vet, and let them know that that's what you want to do. Feed it to cats, ask about that. Those are the only 2 animals we've tried feeding it to. We never, how many different meat eaters. The lizard, she doesn't have any because she is a lizard. I'll grab her real quick. She's right here. Come on, baby. This is Tiger Lily, and she is a bearded dragon, and she's very sweet. She's sweet like a puppy. She's puppy sweet. She acts like a puppy. You got to wash your hands after holding them, they say, because you can get salmonella. I think it's salmonella. But she is a reptile, and she acts like a puppy. She acts like a warm-blooded baby. She's been shedding a little bit, so you have to watch about shedding and cold weather. And we're ready for both. You cannot give your bearded dragon hamburger meat. People say, can I give them hamburger meat? And the answer is no. That's a bearded dragon. The dogs and cats, the vet said yes, and they love it. So anyway, have a great day. Hopefully your dog is not sick, and they want this as a treat. Or maybe your dog takes a daily pill, and this is a good way to do that. You don't have to give it to them every single day. How many do I give? I give 2. Why do I give 2? I don't know. I never really read how much I should give. I don't give it as a meal replacement. If my dog's really sick, then I'd probably have to do that as a meal replacement, and I'd probably give her, 4 in the morning and 4 at night, and then try to get her to eat. But I'd probably stick kibble in that. I'd probably, like I hide a pill, I'd probably hide kibble in there or something, or give her some milk, whatever it takes to get the dog to eat, things they really like when they're sick. So you can hide pills in there, you can add the shell, don't add the shell. If your doctor says your dog needs this or this, you can just put it in there. It doesn't go bad, it's frozen, it's raw meat, they eat it. So talk to your vet, and hopefully your dogs, cats, pets, and you are all doing great. Have a great day. Bye-bye.